ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतलेश्मते भक्तिविकासस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतलेश्मते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्येष्टारिणी। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. It's nice talking to you again through another video, and this is another important topic. We are going to talk about more about understanding what is Ritvikism, what is real Ritvikism, what is regular diksha, what is neo-Rtvik, and how is it different. So just so that these are the three topics we will be talking today. So by the way, I'd like to also recap the previous video that I put out for the guruship, the authorization given. There were some, it is very clear in the video, but I still would like to clarify. It is somebody contended that it is only that Guru seeks blessings from Vaishnavas before initiating a disciple, whether it is a regular disciple or it is an acharya. Now, I would like to say both the verses that I showed have the word anugnata. Anugnata means seeking permission. If you were to seek ashirvad, that is blessings. If you want to seek blessings, that would be ashirvad. But please go back to those verses from that video, Parama Samhita and Ishvara Samhita. Both of them are calling for taking permission, anugnata. That's just a small clarification that I'd like to all of us should understand that. Now let's proceed to today's topic. Today's topic is actually Rtvik, real Ritvikism, and what is how initiation happens, when it is okay for Ritviks to be allowed, and how the how certain people use this Rtvik in a wrong way, and that's why I call them neo-Rtviks. We'll see why and how. Now again, before I proceed, one thing that I would like all of us to remember is the principle of Aikya that we discussed in the last video. So that's very important for us to remember that Srila Prabhupada always emphasized on the principle of Aikya. That is, Srila Narottama-dasa Thakura says, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Chitete Kariya Aikya. And we saw in last video that Srila Prabhupada's most important purport calls out this, actually two purports in Chaitanya Charitamrita. One from Madhya Leela 20.352 that clearly says Shastra should be the center of all. A Guru Vakya or a Sadhu Vakya that's not aligned with Shastra Vakya should be rejected. So Shastra Vakya must be the center. And he said in another purport, 17.186 of the same Madhya Leela, that same verse he quoted, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Chitete Kariya Aikya, and he emphasized that he even gave the example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as an example for great personalities like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramanujacharya. They are all like Sadhu Vakyas, and he gave the spiritual master's words is Shastra Guru Vakya, and then the Shastra Vakya includes Shruti, Smriti, Purana Adi, pancaratrika vidhis. So, and Prabhupada also explained in another lecture that I would like to remind us that he used the word Tinete Koriya Aikya, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya, Tinete Koriya Aikya, and he gave the example of railway track system of we have the three tracks or the Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and they have the vehicle when it is placed on this in alignment as a parallel track, we are sure to attain Krishna. So that's just a recap, and that's the same principle we'll be applying today in our talks too. So Srila Prabhupada employed Rtvik, definitely there is no doubt about it. And he employed Rtviks in the 70s, even before the July 9th, 1977 letter. Srila Prabhupada had employed several initiations he conducted where he could not be present. He had a Rtvik. Rtvik means somebody who is a very learned and who is as described in Shastra. Why we should guess? And let's actually see that verse. Acharyaha swayam adaya niyukto vata mantravit. See, the word he used is mantravit. The spiritual master performs himself the ceremony or engages a Rtvik assistant, mantravit, to perform the ceremony. This is from the Bharadwaj Samhita chapter 2 that describes the entire sequence of all the 5 samskaras, pancha samskara, and the beginning of that tapa samskara. This is described that the spiritual master may do it himself if he is not able to do, or he can appoint a Rtvik. We call mantravit. So this is very important for us to understand that Shastra must be the center. So Prabhupada gave the power of attorney to these Ritviks. That is, this mantravit is only for that ceremony. You cannot say the same mantravit, without the permission, ajnata, from the, without anugnata, without taking permission from the guru. The Ritvik cannot conduct the second day, the third day, a ceremony on his own. Can he? Assume that Prabhupada had an initiation ceremony. He appointed somebody as a Ritvik, and the Ritvik is, let's say, in the past I think he used Revati Nandan Maharaj and several devotees. He employed them who are mantravits. Now, can the same devotee who performed the previous day start a new initiation ceremony with the same power of attorney that he had from the previous day and conduct, and then give the names back to Prabhupada? Here, you can enter, Prabhupada. No. That particular Ritvik is only for that day. And if it's only, we have to understand, some may question, why not the July 9th letter lists 11 of them in writing, so they can do, and also the word is there henceforth. So can they not take it up forever? Yeah, it's all a tarkam, it's a logic, you can employ logic, but let us see Shastra. The Shastra says that the Acharya must be present. Acharya, I'm going to go to that actually, the next one, but Acharya must be present. So where is the Shastra that says you cannot do this, use the Ritviks, if the Acharya is not present? Satkriya Sara Deepika. This is a scripture compiled by Gopala Bhatta Goswami. And in his, there is a 5th chapter that says Satvata Vaishnava, that is Satvata Prayaschittam, for Vaishnavas. So this is called Satvata Prayaschitta Vidhanam. And in that, this verse comes, Kevalam Sri Guru Govindastas. That is, if a disciple falls down from his vows and the Guru is not physically present, this is the time you can employ a Ritvik. That is, if the Guru is present, the fallen disciple goes back. That's what it says. That Kevalam Sri Guru Govindastas. So he can go back, and if the Guru is not present, what to do? That's when he has to go to a representative. And who are those representatives? Tad abhava. That means if the Guru is not there, abhava is a word used in Shastra. Okay? We cannot simply say the Guru is living forever. We cannot compile all these things on our own. The word is used as abhava. Otherwise there is no meaning for Gopala Bhatta Goswami to use the word abhava. Do we think we know more than Gopala Bhatta Goswami by saying that Srila Prabhupada never left us? In a very sentimental, esoteric. Then why would Gopala Bhatta Goswami says that tad abhava, the disciple can go to tat patnyas, the Guru's wife, that is the late Guru's wife, or if the wife is not there, he can go to the putra. If the putra is also not there, son is not there, then he can go to Satirtha Guru Bratus. He can approach his god brothers. If they are also not available, then he can go Sajatiya, of the same quality, devotees of the same quality. They should be Ananya Sharanna Sadhu. Then what he should do? Punaha Pancha Samskara Purvakam Sri Bhagavan Nama Mantra Grahanaihi. Grahanam. One has to accept the name, his initiated Dasya Nama and the Hare Krishna mantra or whatever mantra given at the time of his Sharanagati. So, where are we going with this? Actually, the Rtvik system is very much supported, but that is real Ritvikism, not using these things and trying to concoct our own system. So we'll go, next I want to go is to see a regular diksha, what happens during regular diksha. So, Hare Krishna. In the regular diksha, there is a pancha samskar, tapa, pundra, nama, mantra, yaga. Tapam means we get the Shankh Chakra stamping, or Gaudiya Vaishnavas have a different way, which is adapted by Acharya. So we accept that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a great Acharya, so he gave us an alternative Tapa Samskara that was made very simple. And Nama means you have to get a spiritual name, Dasya Nama. And then we have to take Pundra, the 12 tilaks we have to put every day. Om Keshavaya Namah, Narayana Namah, Narayana Namah, Madhavaya Namah, Govinda Namah. You know all the 12 Dwadasha Pundra. That is a samskara. And then one has to get the mantra. It can be Hare Krishna mantra. It can also, and it starts with it's called Sharanagati mantra, the one that we use for shelter. So in our sampradaya we use Hare Krishna mantra because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave that in Chaitanya Bhagavatam 14.145 and 146. Mahaprabhu says, Sola Nama Bhatri Sakshara Ei Tantra, in regards to Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is Hare Krishna, this mantra, Mahamantra, has got 16 names and 32 syllables. And this is from a Tantra. So this is pancaratrika mantra. It has to be taken in pancaratrika method. So we will talk about that in later videos. But the point here is, I would like to bring another Shastra Praman that says what happens during that time. The Acharya should then give him the Vaishnava Chakra and then grant him the upper cloth, Yoga Pattakam. He shall then say, become preceptor in the Vaishnava Tantra. So first thing the Acharya gives is an instruction that you now preach this Vaishnava Tantra and remain beloved of all, this is a standard. So there is, you may ask what is so big about it. Yeah, it is like, we can understand. What is the sadhu vakya for this? Jare deko, tare kah, Krishna upadesh. Hamara agnya, guru hoya, tarai desh. These are the guru and sadhu vakyas corresponding to the shastra vakya. So we are finding this Aikya principle. Whatever we speak has to be substantiated by the sadhu and guru, and also should be substantiated by the shastra. And we have shown in this particular Tapa Samskara that the guru has to be physically present and he has to give the Nama, Tapa, Pundra, Nama. Now still there is another verse from the next verse from that. I'm sorry. There is the second verse. That says that you can make disciples. Now comes the big question. Those who dispute this, they have to answer this statement from Parama Samhita. After telling you become a preacher, the very next verse, the Acharya says, now accept, may disciples come to you. This is not my statement. We have seen Srila Prabhupada in several places has mentioned, right? You become a guru and accept disciples. One more verse that I wanted to say in the previous one, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Kiva Vipra Kiva Nyasi Shudra Kena Hoy Jai Krishna Tattva Veta Sei Guru Hoy. So one who is an expert in Krishna Tattva, he can become a guru. So that is also a pramana. But here there is an explicit statement in 8.62, the next verse of Parama Samhita, that Shishyastvam prasan upashantu upasarpantu Shishyastvam upasarpantu teshu vartasva shastratah. That means behave with them. You accept disciples, but then treat them according to Shastras. The injunctions that are given in Shastra, the Shishya may be woman, then treat them according to the Shastras. It may be any Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Antyaja, accordingly. Anybody can, take pancaratrika initiation. But then the Guru must not exploit them. And it says, do not conduct yourself, in a way that is greedy. These are all general guidelines. So it's not that, but saying that, today in ISKCON there are so many gurus that have just not followed any of these things. There may be, but that doesn't rule out the principle. We don't want to throw the baby with the bathwater. What we are trying to do, what we will show is that because of these problems, the proposed solution that we will ditch all these and go back to a system that we concoct, that Prabhupada is is a Uttamadhikari. So Prabhupada is continuing to be our guru. These are all concoction, even after Prabhupada. Otherwise, Gopala Bhatta Goswami would not have used the word abhave. So I'd like all of us to consider the Shastra Praman and the alignment with the Sadhu and Guru Vakya. It is not just that we take what we like from Prabhupada's purports here and there or letters and make up a philosophy out of it. We have to show the proof for what we are saying from Shastra. Again and again, if we don't forget this and try to, otherwise you are taking, I'm saying you is the Purva Paksha, or one side takes one set of statements of Prabhupada and this other side takes exactly opposite statements of Prabhupada, then what is the weight? Both the statements of Prabhupada, if they are equal, then how do you determine what is weighing more? How do you do this? And we should not invent a process for this. We should go back to our Acharyas. Jiva Goswami has said that Shruti, Smriti, and then he has given an order, Sadachara, and we went through this in our first video. So there is a hierarchy. Now we find out what is there in the Shruti, the topmost pramana, and then we take that and see which of the two statements of Prabhupada aligns with it. And we take that and we have to interpret the other one. The other statement is not wrong, but it has to be interpreted in accordance to the one that is aligning with the higher hierarchical Shastric injunctions. So far we have seen from Parama Samhita that regular diksha has an implicit authorization for disciples to be accepted. So then one may ask, where does I would use Bangalore as an example, but there are so many, even in the West, in different countries, who postulate the theory that Ritvik initiation can make somebody direct disciple of Prabhupada, even though right now we don't see with our external senses Prabhupada, or we cannot hear with external senses with what Prabhupada is saying. Prabhupada is definitely speaking from his books and definitely with us in spirits and everything, but we have to use our faculties given to us, and that's the meaning of the all Shastra saying approach a representative, living representative. That is the disciple of Prabhupada you have to approach. But this neo-Rtvik means this term has been used incorrectly, that it is being misused. So I'll give some examples for this. Let's take the word smarta. There is a genuine smarta and there is a frantic smarta. The Vaishnavas are all smartas. How? Smarta means follower of Smriti. Now, our topmost pramana is Srimad Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told us clearly that pramanam, puranam, amalam. That is, our topmost pramanam is Srimad Bhagavatam. And Bhagavatam is a Smriti. So if you follow Bhagavatam, Bhagavata Marga, Bhagavata Vidhi, then we are smartas. Then why are we not calling ourselves smartas? The problem is that there are some sect which takes the smartas fanatically and tries to implement it without seeing for acharyas adjustments. The acharyas can adjust these smriti injunctions. That is called sadachar. So these fanatic smartas or frantic smartas don't accept acharya adjustments and they blindly follow what is there. It is mentioned in this Purana, we have to do it. And the recent example for this, ISKCON will appreciate this, that the Rath Yatra festival and the issue associated with Rath Yatra festival. One side, the SJTA is saying that follow Skanda Purana as it is. But every acharyas, we have talked with other Sampradaya Vaishnava acharyas and Srila Prabhupada himself, the acharya can adjust it to have the Rath Yatra festival at a suitable time, because there are so many conditions. In so many countries, right now, it is peak winter in Australia. It is snowing some parts. So you cannot bring, and Prabhupada said, okay, January is their summer, so you do it in January. So these kind of adjustments are possible by a Vaishnava Acharya. But because the Smarta sect, the fanatic followers of Smarta sect is so fanatic, our Vaishnava Acharyas simply did not use the term Smarta and they stopped using it. And they only refer Smarta to those group. So this is one example. There is another example that I'd like to talk about. Vedanta Sutras, there are so many commentaries. Vedanta Sutra is like all Shastra, Atato Brahma Jignasa, Janmasyasya, Yataha. Then the next one is Shastra Yonitvat. There are all like packed 2 words, 3 words formulae. And the Acharyas give a lot of explanation. Bhashya, that's called. So this is called Sharira. This whole Vedanta is the Sharira, and the Bhashya, Shariraka Bhashya means any Bhashya that is given for Vedanta Sutras. But we see Shankaracharya took that name, Shariraka Bhashya, and applied to the Mayavada Bhashya that he gave. Now, Vaishnava Acharyas, so it became famous that Shariraka Bhashya means he took a common name and he made it all Mayavada. So the fighters, Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya and so many devotees who wrote commentaries to Vedanta Sutra, they had to use different terminologies to differentiate. So they did not use Shariraka Bhashya. So this way, what I am trying to say is that the terminology Rtvik cannot be misused. And today, because it's happening, to differentiate from that, we can call them neo-Rtviks. So, generally Rtvik means priest. So we have to understand what is, what it's a priest. And Prabhupada didn't coin this term actually. It was Tamal Krishna Maharaj who was indicating that, are you referring to Rtvik? And Prabhupada said, yeah, that's right, in that way. But Rtvik is not a bad word. But giving it a concocted explanation, and that neo-Rtvik is wrong. So again, I keep saying neo-Rtvik is wrong because they are misusing Prabhupada's some letter that he gave only for temporary power of attorney and until his time. And there are so many other evidences after July 9th, 1977, like October 18th, 1977, Prabhupada says, if and when I become well, I'm sick, that's why I'm using these Rtviks, I've nominated them. But if and when I become okay, I will initiate again. That means what? He cancels that Rtvik order. And he knows that this Rtvik order cannot continue. When Prabhupada becomes well, he is talking. Then when Prabhupada is no longer present with us, and he is, then is it? How do we know? Prabhupada, how can you concoct this and take that letter? Prabhupada clearly said in that October 18, 1977. We don't want to go over these letters and nitpick all these things. We want to see from Shastra. So you may ask, so the power of attorney is really only valid until the person is there, or that same power, Prabhupada's power, comes by an automatic, Prabhupada or any Acharya doesn't invest that. We already saw in the Parama Samhita verse that by default this power is granted to preach and to accept disciples. If Prabhupada says you cannot become a guru, then he is violating that Parama Samhita verse. And what is Parama Samhita? It's a pancaratrika scripture. We are following pancaratrika initiation. So we have to understand these are all very, very important, that we cannot coin things on the fly. So I'd like to go probably to the last evidence, that there is an evidence from Ishvara Samhita. This is in verse, it's actually a longer verse, 283 of 21st chapter, 283 to 286, but the verse of 286 is more important. This is in regards to Pancha. I showed this verse in the last video also, but I'm going to pick a particular part of it that is relevant for us to understand. This is Pancha Samskara Vidihi. And in this, what is said is that, this is, by the way, Ishvara Samhita is a Vishnu Prokta Samhita, that means Lord Vishnu spoke. And Lord Vishnu is saying in this is that the Acharya should worship the conch and the disc. There are two stamps for this Tapa Samskar. And he has to install this mantra that he received from his Guru at the time of his initiation. Now the point is, and then he invests that, and then he stamps it. That means he is acting in one sense as a representative, and he is also accepting disciples, but it is automatically connecting the new person, and he has the right to connect this new person with his Paramaguru. That is Paramaguru for the new disciple. That is one who is initiating, doing the stamping, is connecting the disciple to the Parampara. The immediate next person is, in our case, Prabhupada disciples who do this are connecting us with Prabhupada. So this is the correct way of initiation. Even if you consider this, as Rtvik, which is not the case, because Rtvik means only Prabhupada must be physically present. But here, that itself shows that today some groups or the neo-Rtviks are simply assigning somebody as Rtvik to do the officiating ceremony, and they are saying we are not Acharya, we are bringing to our Acharya Prabhupada. But this Rtviks that we are appointing, did they get the mantra from Prabhupada? If only they had gotten the mantra from Prabhupada, they can give. And that is this verse from Ishvara Samhita. I give a minute or so for us to read this. Chakra Shankau Samabhyarchya Tantan Mantraihi Pratishtitau Purvam Swaguruna Dattau Swadiksha Svashare Dvijah. So this is under the heading Pancha Samskara Vidhi, the method of doing Pancha Samskara. O Brahmins, he, Acharya, shall worship the discus and conch which are consecrated with the respective mantras, which were given to him, the Acharya, formerly by his preceptor on the occasion of his initiation. That means the Acharya's initiation. So then only he can perform this ceremony. So it's very important that the fight that is going on right now, Prabhuji, should I go with this camp or should I go with this Bangalore camp? Actually, you have to understand, and this Rtvik camp. Bangalore camp is not a Rtvik camp. They are neo-Rtvik. Please understand the difference. I tried my best to put it across based on Shastra. This is not my own concocted idea. I only coined the term neo-Rtvik because we have to give some name to them. Why do I am just saying neo means new age. Isn't it new age that somebody concocts something and gives which has not been given by our acharyas and shastras and sadhus and the Vaishnava tradition? The whole Vedic culture doesn't give this. So we are going through a tough time, and we should understand, especially those who are trying to come to Krishna consciousness newly. Please understand, we are in Kali Yuga, and Kali will do all sorts of mischief. Kali was so clever, it got into, it found a way out of, Parikshit Maharaja's costless mercy. So why not these neo-Rtviks find a loophole in Srila Prabhupada's costless mercy and mispropagate? Someone may say, why are you, casting them into something? I am not. They themselves are claiming that what they are saying is the truth. So, Satyameva Jayate is something that we should remember. The truth shall prevail. So if somebody questions me, where do you have the Shakti to say this? Now, that Shakti came to me through my pancaratrika initiation that I received from my Guru Maharaj, who is a disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.